Hi guys, welcome to the third video on fine-tuning and deploying your own models. In the first video, we have seen Llama 3.2, that's an amazing model. In the second video, we worked with Llama and Hugging Face to get started with Llama 3.2. And in this video, I'm so excited to show you how we can fine-tune Llama 3.2 for your own use case. It's a magic that we can fine-tune the models, and it has been very difficult to get started and fine-tune any models. Now Unsloth has released a few concepts and released a few collab notebooks using which you can easily fine-tune the models. Let's look. So we go to their GitHub, and on their GitHub, and you can see that we have so many notebooks which are available. Now I want you to divert your attention. I will paste in a link to this GitHub page and you can have a look, but I want to divert your attention to this notebook, which is Llama 3.2 conversational notebook. Now we will cover this notebook in this video, and if you want, I can cover other notebooks as well. But if you cover this notebook and understand this notebook, then it opens up a pathway for you to train your own models using your own dataset, and it's very huge. It's very easy. The steps are pretty easy. So we have Unsloth. So first of all, we need to install Unsloth. So I have already run this command. So pip install Unsloth and pip uninstall Unsloth y, and install it with the latest version from the collab. I'm using T4 here, just a free version in your Google Colabs. We move on to the next step. We are going to use this library known as Unsloth. We are going to import fast language models, and as you can see below, we have loaded up the model and tokenizer using the fast language module and this method here from pre-trained, which is going to load up this model. So this is the model that we are going to use. This is the model from Unsloth, and there are different other versions that you can use. I've already made a video on 3.1, Llama 3.1, but this video is for Llama 3.2 instruct model, a 3 billion model. Now this is done, so installation is done. We can run this. So this loads up our model. So the model that we're going to use is Unsloth, Llama 3.2, 3 billion instruct. So let's wait. We see that the GPU that you are using is GPU Tesla T4, max memory is 14 GB, platform is Linux. And I would like to mention that if you're using Windows to do something, you pretty much need to switch to Linux. If you're trying to do this on Windows, there will be numerous issues in running PyTorch and other libraries, and it's pretty difficult to get your fine-tuning process up and running on Windows. But if you use Linux, this is going to work pretty well. I'm on my Google Colab, but if you're on a local system, you can just set up an Ubuntu and do this on Linux. This is going to be pretty well. So we model, the model that we've downloaded is of 2.24 GB. So the model is loaded here. Next, using that same method, a fast language model, we use this get PEFT model, which is PEFT is parameter efficient fine tuning, and this is going to load up our QLoRa parameters. We are going to target these modules. This is the rank of the QLoRa. This is the alpha, and there are no dropouts. We have not used any dropout. We could use, although. So what did we do? We passed the model and we made a new model, which is a quantized version or QLoRa version of that model. So once we loaded up this model here, so this model was the raw model which was loaded from the Unsloth library, and when we say this model get PEFT model and we passed in the model here, this is our new model, which is a quantized model. So step number 3 is that we have this quantized model. Now we need to prepare the data. Now it's very essential, and all the different models have different types of data that it supports or works well. Now in this instruct kind of a model, we need to pass this type of data. So look at this very carefully. So we have this part of the code. So start header ID, then we have end header ID, and we have the end of text ID. Okay, So start header ID, user. So this is a user, and what does the user say? It says hello. So end of text. Next is this part. So start of ID, assistant, and this is the assistant. Assistant says, hey there, how are you? And this is the end of text. So this is what the assistant said. And next is, this is what the user said. So this is the sequence that Llama 3.1 format follows. So at the start we'll have the beginning of text, and then we would have the end of text ID, then we have the another end of text ID, then we have another end of text ID. So this is the format I want you to focus. So this is the Llama 3.1 format, and we are going to use this fine-tune dataset. Let's go to the dataset. We can see that it has about 11 or 100k rows. It's a huge dataset. It's about 117 MB. So we are going to use this. So at this point of time, I want you to show the database. So let's copy this and let me show you the database first. Okay. So we have this dataset. I'm going to load this dataset and I am going to show you the dataset. So let's say dataset, and let's show you the dataset here. How does the dataset look? So you can see features. We have conversations, we have source, and the scores. We are only going to target conversations, and therefore we have this. So you can see we have this particular function, which is formatting prompt function. We pass in examples, and that examples of conversation. Okay, examples conversation is used, which means the first part or the first column will be used. So once going back to your dataset, so our dataset has 3 features and we are only concerned with the conversation here. So we load the dataset, and I am just going to go down and show you this part of the code. So this is from Unsloth.chat template to import the standardized shared GPT, and dataset, we pass the dataset from the standardized shared GPT. So what it does is that anything which has from value, from system value, from human value, from GPT value to role and content. Okay, so if you have a look at the dataset here, let me show you the first element of the dataset. Let's say the first row, and then you are interested in conversations. You can see that we have from, human, and value. So this is the format, from, GPT, and value. We are going to convert that format. So from human value and from GPT value, we are going to convert that to role system, content, role system, content, and role assistant, content. Okay, so if I take this part of the code and just run through this, so we have the standardized dataset now. So let me show you the dataset and then we'll proceed. So our new dataset is the converted dataset, and if I go and have a look at, let's say, the 0 row and the conversations, let's see. So you can see it has been converted to content and role. So this is one part, so content and role. So this line, it converts from the from system to the role system. Okay, so once we have this, we can now run this code. So which is, let me copy this, go here, and we can run this now. So dataset, again, that dataset is mapped onto formatting prompt function. Now formatting prompt function is defined somewhere here. So formatting prompt function is this, where any examples or any dataset that we pass, we are going to take the conversation part only, and then we are going to apply some chat template. So what is that chat template? So we're going to apply for every convo. In convos, there's as a particular loop. We are using the tokenizer.apply chat template, but what is the tokenizer here? So tokenizer here is the get chat template module from the Unsloth chat templates, and we are passing the old tokenizer that we had, and we are passing the chat template Llama 3.1 here. So we are changing the tokenizer itself, and using the tokenizer we are loading or changing the conversations, and we are returning it in the text format. So we are attaching another column known as text. So I will show you that, but let me comment this out. Let me run this. And now if we run this, so the data set is being mapped, and once we have a data set ready, we can see how the data set looks like. Okay, I'm gonna write data set here. Okay, let's look at the data set now. Now we can see that we have added another column here, another feature, which is the text feature. And if you look at text, what does it have? You can just go and have a look at the text. For example, here, text. Here we can see that we have that particular format, or Llama 3.1 format, being applied here. So we have the beginning of text here. Then we have start header system, end header, and this is what the system said. And then we have the end of token here. Next is what the assistant said, and then we have the end of token here. So that is the format. Now we can imagine that this data set, we have added another column which contains the text, and that is the exact format that our system or the LLM demands. So we have loaded or made our data set ready. Now we are going to train the model. Now for training the model itself, the Unsloth trainer, this is an old library which they have used. They have also used from Unsloth is floated supported, and from the transformers they have used transformer arguments and data collector for sequence to sequence. These are the different parameters. You can go through each of the parameter and tune it, or find the best parameter that is required, but I want you to focus on this part. So we have the tokenizer, new tokenizer here. So the model is a QLoRa model that we have already changed. Tokenizer is a new tokenizer. Train dataset is the new dataset, and from the dataset we want to focus on the text part only. Max sequence length is already defined. Then these are the other parameters that you can use. We are using Adams 8-bit. Maximum steps is 60 per device. Train batch size is 2. Gradient accumulation step is 4. Now there are different parameters you can play with, so I'm just going to run this. But once we have this ready, it is ready to be tuned. Another thing that is particularly useful to understand for this Llama 3.2 instruct model is that we are only going to train on the completion method. So we are going to use the train on completion method to train the assistant only on the outputs and not only users input. So we modified the trainer a little bit, which shows the exact position of the instruction part and shows the position of the response part, which means we are actually masking the input. So we are actually masking this part of the code, which is the beginner, or you can say till here. We are masking the part where the user asks the questions, and you can see that from the astronomers make use, we're using this part for calculating the loss. In other words, those are the things, those are the outputs that goes to the model for it to calculate the exact loss. So next we see that this is the GPU. So the GPU used is Tesla here. Then we just click on train stats, and this is how the training goes on. Ultimately you will be able to run this code and see it took 8 minutes, and you can see the other peak memory. Now for the inference part, we need to use the tokenizer, the same tokenizer, Llama 3.1 here, tokenizer get chat template, and we can ask this question and it's going to reply me with the answer. Okay, we can use a text streamer as well, and we can save the models in different templates. So one of the templates is gguf, which can be used to locally run Llama. Another model is for the VLLM. We can save that. We can directly push this model to Hugging Face as well. and that is another way of using the models. But this is the entire setup. I will attach the link to all the sections. This is the entire setup, or the Google Colab notebooks, which you can use to fine-tune the model. In the next video, I am going to show you how you can make your own dataset ready, or in other words, how we can make any unstructured data into your dataset. For example, we have let's say a Wikipedia library or Wikipedia article, and we want to make a dataset in this format using the Wikipedia article. So first of all, from the Wikipedia article, we are going to make from human of value something like this, and then we are going to convert it into this format, and after that we are going to convert it into Llama 3.1 format. Then we are going to use our model Unsloth, that's pretty slick, to train our models. Now I think this is pretty interesting, this is pretty sweet. Please try it out and let me know if there is any issues, and watch the other 2 videos prior to this and how to get started on Llama and Hugging Face. So here we are loading up the trainer here, and then we are going to start this trainer up, and then we can do the inference. So I'm going to leave it to you to test this out, but again, you can go to this unsloth.ai. From there you can go to the GitHub page, and in the GitHub page we can see there are different models to test it out. It has never been so easier to fine-tune the models. We can go to this notebook as well. Here they have used a different data set, which means we need different methods to attack the data set. So for example, we can this is the data preparation. We are preparing this in a slightly different format, so we are using the alpaca prompt format here, where we have instructions, we have inputs and a response here. But in our notebooks that you have tried, this is Llama 3.1 format. So there are different formats for different LLMs, and if you go and test out the different, look at the different Mistral notebooks or other Phi notebooks, many different methods have been used, and if you just go through each of one of them, if you want, I can go through each one of them, but if you go through each one of them, you will see different methods of tackling each of the models here. Now until next time,